My best friend's perfect wedding turned into a disaster when I exposed her maid of honor's real plan. My best friend Sarah had been planning her dream wedding for 2 years, small ceremony, close family and friends, everything de brabular perfect. She asked me to be a bridesmaid and her cousin Rachel to be maid of honor. Rachel was one of those people who seemed flawless on the surface, successful real estate agent, gorgeous, always knew the right thing to say. Sarah worshipped her. Rachel's been like a big sister to me since we were kids, she'd gush. I am so lucky to have her. But Rachel gave me weird to speak. During dress fittings, she'd make these tiny comments. Are you sure about this venue? It's kind of basic, or the flowers are cute, very simple. Always with that perfect smile. Sarah would deflate a little each time but never said anything. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was grabbing lunch near Rachel's office when I saw her coming out of a building with some guy in a suit. They were standing way too close, and he handed her an envelope. She kissed him on the cheek before walking away. Strange, since Rachel had been dating the same boyfriend for 3 years. I almost forgot about it until the rehearsal dinner. Rachel stood up to give her speech about how much Sarah meant to her, how excited she was to stand by her side tomorrow. H&N was tearing up. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her face went pale. She excused herself to take a call outside. I followed her out because something felt wrong. She was pacing by the parking lot, voice hushed but urgent. No, you can't postpone it. The house goes on the market tomorrow morning while she's on her honeymoon. She'll never know until it's too late. My blood went cold. Sarah had inherited her grandmother's house last year. It was worth almost $500,000, and Sarah had given Rachel power of attorney to handle some paperwork while she was planning the wedding. The commission alone is going to set me up for months, Rachel continued. She trusts me completely. By the time she gets back from Hawaii, I'll have 3 offers, and she'll have to accept whatever I negotiated. I stood there shaking. Sarah had specifically told Rachel she wasn't ready to sell yet. The house had too many memories. Rachel had promised to just handle the tax paperwork. I walked back inside in a daze. Sarah was glowing, talking about how grateful she was for Rachel's help with everything. Her new husband was joking about how Rachel probably knew Sarah better than he did. The next morning was the wedding. Everything looked perfect. Sarah was radiant in her dress. The flowers were beautiful, and Rachel played the role of devoted maid of honor flawlessly. During the ceremony, Rachel held Sarah's bouquet and dabbed her eyes with tissues like she was genuinely emotional. She even adjusted Sarah's train when we walked back down the aisle. At the reception, they called for the maid of honor speech. Rachel stood up with her champagne glass, that perfect smile plastered on her face. Sarah has always been like a little sister to me, she began. And what I love most about her is how trusting she is, how she sees the best in everyone. The crowd was nodding along. Sarah was beaming. She's always been willing to put her faith in the people she loves, even when maybe she shouldn't. Something in her tone made my skin crawl. I looked around. Nobody else seemed to notice. Tomorrow, she starts a new chapter with Mike, and I couldn't be more excited to help her leave the past behind and embrace new opportunities. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. Mission turned to look at me. Actually, let me add something to that toast, I said, raising my own glass. Here is to Sarah's beautiful new marriage, and to her keeping every single thing that belongs to her. Part of that gorgeous house her grandmother left her that definitely isn't going on the market tomorrow. The room went dead quiet. Sarah's face scrunched in confusion. What are you talking about? I looked straight at Rachel. Want to tell her about your phone call last night? Or should I explain why you are planning to list her house while she's in Hawaii? Rachel's perfect composure cracked. You are being ridiculous. I would never. You said the commission would set you up for months. Sarah's bouquet hit the floor. Rachel, what is she talking about? The reception turned into chaos. Rachel tried to explain, claiming it was a misunderstanding, that she was only exploring options. But when Sarah called her lawyer right there from the head table, we found out Rachel had already signed preliminary listing agreements with 2 different agencies. Sarah spent her wedding night canceling power of attorney paperwork instead of celebrating goodbye to anyone. Later that week, Sarah found out Rachel had been telling potential buyers the house would be motivated seller priced because of family circumstances. Some people wear masks, so